I want to talk about your new album. We talked about it earlier, and the passion that you've put into it and the effort. I don't think I've ever spoken to a star before who spent 3 years dedicating their life to getting something absolutely as they want it. You've put your own money into it, you've put your pride into it, you've put your name into it. This means the world to you, doesn't it?
It means everything to me, and also when it's hard to explain Mr. Ron Fair. Ron Fair is probably one of the most meticulous, cerebral people you'll ever meet, and neither one of us are fans of mediocrity. Like, it annoys us, and he'll bring out a reference and goes, "Well, do you know so and so, and it'll be a reference from 1936, and we won't continue the session until he finds that clip on YouTube. In fact, there was a 2-hour period of an album, and I said, "Ron, this is ridiculous." And he goes, "No, this person doesn't exist. He must exist. This is great. This is great." And as a harmonica player, a British harmonica player, and I said, and we were on YouTube and we were online and we're trying to find clips, and then it occurred to us, maybe let's check iTunes. And thank God he was on iTunes, and we could continue the session. But that kind of tells you what music means to Ron. And my mum actually said this. She said, "Ron's the first person that's allowed your music to be your music." And Ron said, "Let's build skyscrapers on your music." And that's what we've done. And the best way I can say it is that I'll be doing backing vocals for 5 hours, and then we'll get to a piece of a song, and in our hearts we know we really need another 5 hours, and then so we'll do another 5 hours. And when it's that difference between saying, "No, that sounds good enough," or it does, or it sounds perfect. And the guy that's mixing the record is a guy called Peter Mokran, who is also world class. And we're all in this vacuous kind of space of getting this thing finished. We've got nothing else really exists for us at the moment. It's kind of a beautiful place to be.
How do you know when to stop, though? There's got to be a point where it's magnificent, it's perfect, because you can overproduce, you can over-record. Sometimes the first take of that slight roughness in the voice or the vibrato might be the thing that people love the most. There's got to be a point, hasn't there, when you say, "Okay, we're just going to have to leave it now"?
No, I totally agree with you. Listen, don't get me wrong. I can't bear if it's completely perfect, especially vocals. I mean, vocals have to be soulful. I'm talking about the logistics of getting orchestras and brass players and arrangements and stuff like that. This is what I'm talking about. The album is being mixed on the 15th of January, so we are done. I mean, the album isn't like, oh, we're enjoying this frivolous journey of like, let's just do whatever we want. No, we're trying to make a record that incorporates tomorrow and yesterday in a way that makes us happy. You know, there's music from the past that I adore, and but I also want to make a record. I want to create. There's 14 songs. I don't know if there's gonna be 14 songs on the album, but there are 14 original songs, and me and Ron both believe that all of them are standards. So, and it's crossed between Elvis and Frank and Stevie, and it's Sting, everything. Police, you know, everything I've loved in music, it's got a piece of.
This means the world to you. You've put everything into it. Are you being a genius in doing this, or are you risking what you've already sort of achieved? There's a big gamble here. I mean, you talk about the casinos being full of gamblers on the slots. You're gambling your reputation, you're gambling your money, you're gambling everything, aren't you?
There's not one single piece of my body that thinks this. No, there's not one piece of my body or soul thinks I've made a mistake. This record is beautiful, and it's one of many. Let me add that. This is just the record that I've always wanted to make, and I've been able to do it. And I've been able to work with a producer that I've always wanted to work with. And my management company at Vector have been responsible for careers of Bon Jovi, Kings of Leon, all the way through to Kesha. I mean, they're my managers, and and my team. My agent's a CAA, and you don't have a team like that if you're making mistakes. And that's before the record's out. So there's not a doubt in my mind. Self-investment is, in anyone that has their own business, self-investment is terrifying. But if you truly believe in what you're doing, it's the closer I get to the finishing this record, the less terrified I am.
When people say to me, what's Matt Goss like? I firstly say he's a nice guy, which is always surprising to people because you were so cocky back in the day and you had the world at your feet.
Were we?
I think you were. I mean, from a guy's point of view, watching you on stage, you were cocky. I mean, you were kings of the castle. You had every right to be. I mean, you were the biggest stars in the day, weren't you?
I don't know. I remember a really sad comment that somebody said to my brother. They said, "Are you really this nice?" I think I was an 18-year-old guy that had hits. I lost a ton of money. I think I've always been a respectful human being. I think my mum would have kicked my ass if I wasn't. I think what the problem was is I think it was a story made in journalistic heaven when people that are so successful and so wealthy fall from such a great height. It is the perfect tabloid fodder and I think that's what happened.
Also, from a chubby ginger point of view, there's a huge resentment that I wasn't you. I mean, to have that amount of popularity and fame and girls after you, I said to you last time, if I could just be your private parts for half a day, it would be marvellous.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because if I was your private parts for a day, I'd be scratching my balls all day long. But
please don't refer to my half an inch and dozen wrinkles again, because it's not nice.
Obviously, when you're fully aroused, that is.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I think the bottom line is, jealousy is the destroyer of dreams. Fear is the destroyer of dreams. Anyone that knows me, I think pretty much since I was a kid, anyone that knows me, I don't want to be the only guy at the traffic lights with a nice car. I want everyone around me to feel their absolute best. You can ask anyone around me. I don't give away things that I don't like. I don't like that. If I love something and somebody really loves it, I get immense pleasure in giving things. I'm not trying to in any way defend myself. It's just the way I live my life. I love people around me feeling the best they can. And I can give you my word on this. If you don't compete with your friends and you just want the best for them and they want the best for you, there are going to be times when your friend is doing better than you. If your friend's a good friend, he's going to look out for you and he's going to pull you up. He may pull you up past himself, but make sure you pull him back up. And it's a never-ending, beautiful process. I think it's called Pay It Forward. And I think that that's how I live my life, mate, and that's the honest truth. I couldn't sit in front of, he's been around me for a few days, and what's one of my key concerns for you personally?
I feel my best, and I feel like $1 million.
But it is. What's the point of it? It's tough. These are people I love, and I get a lot of love in return, and